Spurgeon here with RevZilla, and in this video we're going to break down the Speed and Strength SS5100 helmet available at RevZilla.com. So for 2019, Speed and Strength has revamped their entire helmet line, and what we're going to see with the 5100 is this is now going to sit at the top of their food chain for a full-faced helmet coming in around the $330 mark. What you're going to notice with this is not quite as aggressive as what we've seen with like the 2100 from the Hawksbill design, so it's definitely a little bit more sport touring in its nature, and you're going to get some additional creature comforts to accommodate that. So let's start off by talking about the shell. So this is going to be a tri-composite shell. It's made from 3 different materials: fiberglass, nylon, and carbon fiber. That means that it is going to be a little more resistant to impact and puncture, as well as a little more lightweight, 3 pounds, 5 ounces in a large. Really nice lightweight design considering you're coming in around that $330 price point. Now there are 3 different shell sizes, which is going to come in extra small to small for the first shell size, medium to large for the second shell size, and then the third shell size will range from extra large up to 2XL. DOT ECE rating, and that ECE rating is now going to carry across all of the Speed and Strength helmets that we're seeing released for 2019, and it is going to have an intermediate to long oval head shape. And really, when we're talking about head shape, it's the most important part of how to size up the helmet to fit your head. If you remember, we did that helmet sizing video to kind of explain some of that. But the internal head shape on this is going to be a little bit longer front to back, slightly narrower down the side of the head, and it's going to work for those of you out there that do have that long oval shape. Now, when we're talking about the actual helmet itself, let's start by looking at the ventilation for this. So you have a really nice, clean, actuated vent at the chin, really firm feel to having it open and closed. You're also going to have these brow vents down here on either side, and then you're going to have one push button vent at the very top for your chimney vent. Now the one thing I will say is that these little vents down here are a little bit hard to actuate with your gloves on, so I would make sure to set whether you want those vents open or closed prior to your ride. But then the exact opposite of that is that the chimney vent on top is one of the easiest that I have seen. The one thing to note, it is a little bit loose, so that might rattle for you a little bit when you're riding, but in the open position, it actually sits perfectly taut. So the only time that I would see it maybe being a problem for you is when it is in the closed position. Looking at the face shield, you are not going to have an internal drop-down sun visor with this. It is just going to be your face shield, single-ply face shield to this. What it does have on the left-hand side is a locking mechanism, so you can actually lock that into place. There is no detents, so you're either looking at open or closed. And my biggest nitpick with the 5100 is with the face shield itself. It doesn't, sit full back against the gasket. You leave a little bit of an air gap throughout the entire piece, which can be uncomfortable from just the noise and the airflow that's kind of coming through at high speed. I messed around with it. I adjusted the plates as far back as I could on either side to see if maybe it was just adjusted wrong. It is a sample helmet, so maybe they'll adjust this with the final version. But as it sits right now, my biggest complaint with the 5100 is just that it doesn't give you that really tight fit against the gasket. Moving around to the back of the helmet, you are going to have the little aerodynamic kind of spoiler to the back of this, passive vents underneath, no active vents. So really, if your vents are open to the front, the exhaust has a place to go. If they're closed at the front, there's nothing pushing through. You really don't need to worry about those. So let's take a look at the inside. And one of the things that we're seeing Speed and Strength do across their line is that with their chin spoilers, you have a 2-tier chin spoiler. So the first tier just comes off with a little bit of Velcro. And if you don't want to use that because you have a hard time getting the helmet on and off, you can put that to the side, and that second part of the chin spoiler remains intact. Now you can remove that as well if you don't want any chin spoiler, but I really like the fact that they give you the option to run this with either a full spoiler, a half spoiler, or no spoiler. Pulling out the inside, what you'll notice here is you are going to have speaker pocket cutouts. And if you watch the video that we did for the 2100, one of the nitpicks that we had with that was that the speaker pockets sat a little bit too low. With this one, I feel like they fit really nicely right against your ear. So if you are using a comm system with this, those recessed little pockets in there will perfectly hold the speakers to give you a little bit more room inside your helmet while still allowing you to use a comm system. When you're looking at the cheek pads themselves, comfortable contour to the cheek pad, a little bit more sophisticated than what we saw with the 2100, and it works to wick sweat away quite nicely. Full wrap around to the back on that as well, supporting the bottom of your head and making sure the helmet feels nice and secure. The liner itself is more sophisticated with just the vents that you're going to see worked into the liner. As I pull this out, you're going to have some little cutouts in the actual top of the liner to help airflow through, and then the massive cutouts along the side, just letting airflow pass through from the vents and it works really nicely to give you a mount to the back underneath the shell, as well as a mount to the top. A lot of times what we'll see with manufacturers is they give you the brow mount at the front, but then they still leave snaps at the back, and that can cause pressure points for certain riders. So with this being a long oval shell design, they actually did a really good job doing a brow mount in the front and then a mount that goes up underneath the shell in the back. Taking a look at the inside, you will notice that you have two main channeled cutouts that work their way through the front to the back from a ventilation standpoint, and they are definitely deeper than the 2100 rather. When we talk about the 2100, one of the things we would mention that we would have liked to have seen is some slightly deeper cutouts, and you can see now as you bumped up to the higher price point with the 5100, the cutouts are a little bit deeper, helps to have airflow pass through from the front to the back. Again, just better ventilation all the way around for bumping up to that $330 price point. Just keep in mind that at that price point, you are going to have that price match guarantee. So anything at RevZilla does carry that price match guarantee, so you're guaranteed to get the lower price. But really what you're going to see for bumping up to the 5100 over something in Speed and Strength's line like the 2100, again, better ventilation, better shell design, more shell options, nicer interior, just overall a slightly nicer helmet. Again, my real main nitpick with this is just the face shield. I'd like to see them revise that a little bit to give us a better seal around the gasket. But for those of you out there that are interested in the SS5100 and you're curious as to what other riders have to say, now would be the point in time where you can click your info button on your desktop or mobile device. You can read other rider reviews from folks that are already out there putting this helmet through its paces. And if you have more questions as to which helmet is right for you around that $300 to $350 price point, you can reach out to one of our gear geeks at 877-792-9455, or you can shoot an email over to cs@revzilla.com, and they can walk you through all the different helmets available. Now, I want to thank you for joining us for this look at the Speed and Strength SS5100 helmet. I'm Spurge. Enjoy the ride.